Yes. So, hello everyone. Good evening. Nisha Joshi here. So, welcome to Gema channel. So, Gema is back again with a new session on a very interesting science topic, that is, how do we see beautiful colors? Now, without any delay, let's get into the topic. Okay. So, now in this session, we will be studying regarding how do we see the beautiful colors, right? So, have you ever thought how the eye works? Yes. So you can question yourself. Until then, I'll be moving into the next slide. Yes. So in today's session, what are we going to learn? Why do we see colors? Why there are different colors? How do we see the beautiful colors? How it is possible to differentiate between different colors? Amazing facts about the human eye. What is color blindness? Why some people are color blind? Amazing facts that will blow your mind. This is that all. Okay? Yes. So, firstly, starting it, why do we see colors? In this topic, you will learn the purpose of seeing colors. Yes. Moving to the next slide. Purpose of colors. An important part of everyday lives is being able to see the world in color. Yes, just imagine when when you will be not able to see the whole world with the existence of color. Just imagine as if we will be seeing the whole world with the black and white color. That's really sounds boring, right? Just imagine, like, just you can imagine how we are witnessing at right, like at the current moment we are witnessing sky with the blue color, leaves with the green, branches with the brown. That is so interesting, and that itself is a justification that the nature is so beautiful with the existence of different colors, right? So, an important part of everyday lives is being able to see the world in color. Color helps us to recognize and distinguish between objects of varying hue and saturation. It attracts our attention and it serves as a non linguistic code that gives us instant information about the world around us. Yes, exactly. That is the purpose of colors. Yes. Now moving into the next slide. Yes. Sir Isaac Newton here he has written a very beautiful quote. And what is that quote? The quote says that colors which appear through the prism are to be delivered from the light of the white one. Yes, exactly. Such a interesting quote it is. What it is actually telling is that whenever a white light is going to pass through a prism, okay, so whenever a white light is going to pass through a prism, then the white light is dispersed, okay, it is being dispersed to its seven constituent colors. And what are the seven constituent colors? Do you have any idea, students? Yes. So the seven different constituent colors are, that is the same colors of rainbow. Yeah, so that is the same colors of the rainbow, and that is Vibgor. I can call it in a short form as Vibgor. That is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and lastly red. So that is the exact meaning of the code. That colors which appear through the prism are to be delivered from the light of the white one. So that indirectly, Sir Isaac Newton is telling that the white light is going to be dispersed into seven constituent colors. And this phenomena is known as dispersion. Okay? Yes. Moving into the next slide. Yes, coming to the interesting facts. So, there are certain interesting facts about different colors, that is blue, pink, yellow. So firstly, let us start with the blue color. Yes, the color blue is the least common color in the foods we eat. Okay, so the color blue, it is the very least common color in the foods we eat. Coming to the pink, one popular gemstone that is pink is the rhodochrosite. Okay, moving to the yellow color. Yes, moving to the yellow color. Yellow is the most visible color in the daylight. Okay, yes. Moving to the next slide. Why there are different colors in nature? Right, students? Now let's get into the next concept, that is why there are different colors in the nature. Now here we will be going to learn why there are different colors in nature in depth. Okay, yes. Yeah, now let's study the reason in detail. why there are different colors in the nature. Okay, so when sunlight beams down on earth and reflects of the nature of the natural world, the light bounces off at wavelengths corresponding to various colors, and our eyes pick up on these colors. Okay, and what is meaning of wavelength, students? Here wavelength is nothing but, in a simple words I can tell it as like distance between two peaks, that is with respect to wave. So difference between two peaks on the wave is nothing but the wavelengths. Okay. Now moving to the next thing, what is the reason behind different colors, right? Yeah, our brain is responsible for deciding what color we are seeing based mainly on one factor, that is the light that comes through our eyes. Okay, the light that comes through our eyes. So now white light is composed of radiation of all colors. When an object receives this light, it absorbs some wavelengths and reflects others. Okay, the one it reflects are the one we see as color. Okay, so the one that is going to reflect, that are the ones that we see as a color. Now you can see there is a side, you can see in the side was there is GIF, that is basically showing the different colors, right? Evolving of different colors, and that is actually very beautiful, right? Yes. Moving on to the next slide. Yes. Now let's see what are the different wavelength of different colors. Yeah. As I told you that wavelength is nothing but the two different peaks that is present on the wave, right? So now let's see what are the different wavelength of different colors. So moving starting with the first one, that is violet. So violet has the wavelength of 400 nanometer. Coming to the indigo, indigo has wavelength of 425 nanometer. Here NM is nothing but the SI unit, and nm is nothing but the full form of the nm is nothing but the nanometer, and that is nanometer is nothing but it is equivalent to 10 raised to power minus 9 meter. Okay, so coming to the blue, blue is of 550 nanometer, that is nothing but the wavelength of blue is 550 nanometer. Green 600 nanometer, yellow 630 nanometer, orange is 665 nanometer. Yeah. Yes, sorry. Red is the 665 nanometer, orange is 630, yellow is 600, green is 550, blue is 470, indigo is 425 nanometer, and coming to violet, that is the least wavelength, is 400 nanometer. Okay, and you can just correlate the colors, that is with Gore. That is actually it is in the same order that we see in the nature. I mean in the natural phenomena we see that there is a there is a origin of rainbow, right? So yeah, rainbow also is going to form in the same way, in the same order of the of the colors that is present on the screen. That is in the same order, it is going to follow the same pattern, that is of Vibgor. And the Vibgor is nothing but the 7 different colors. Even the rainbow is going to consist of the 7 different colors in the same fashion, that is of Vibgor, that is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and lastly red. And you need to remember that the least wavelength is with respect to the violet color, and the highest wavelength, okay, the color which is going to have the highest wavelength is nothing but red, and the least wavelength is violet. Okay, now moving to the next slide. Yeah, do you know, there is a fact that, do you know, scientists have determined that in the lab we can see about 1000 levels of dark light and about 100 levels each of red, green and yellow, blue light. Isn't it very amazing, students? I mean, the dark light itself has got certain 1000 levels of light. I mean 1000 levels of color also, and about 100 levels each of red, green and yellow, blue. So that's about 10 million colors right there, right? This itself is telling that there are so many huge different number of colors that is actually existed, and we can see that, right? But the only thing is we are not aware of what is that color called, right? Because there are 10 million colors right there, isn't it? Yes. So moving to the next slide, guys, students. How do we see the beautiful colors? Now coming to the next slide, how do we see the beautiful colors? Now in this slide we'll be studying how we actually see the colors. Okay, yes. So, the human eye and brain together translate light into color. Okay, the fact is that the human eye as well as the brain together is going to translate light into color. So, light receptors within the eye transmit messages to the brain, which produces the familiar sensations of the color. Newton observed that color is not inherent in objects. Rather, the surface of an object reflects some colors and absorbs all the others. Okay? Yes. Now, let us understand certain points to remember. What are the points? Now, let us understand certain parts of eyes, right? Eyes. So, now, in other words, we can call our eyes as the just like a camera. It's just like a camera, guys. Okay? Yes. Coming to the certain parts of eyes, that is retina. The retina is covered with the millions of light sensitive cells. They are called as rods and cones. Okay? Moving to the next part of eye, that is cone cells. Cone cells helps to detect colors. Most people have three kinds of cone cells. Okay, most people will be having three kinds of cone cells. Now, visual cortex. Moving to the next part, that is visual cortex, located at the back part of our brain, and nerve signals from the eyes are sent to the visual cortex. Yes. Moving to the next part, that is called as optic nerve. Nerve signals are transferred via this nerve to the visual cortex. Okay. Yes. Moving to the next slide. Yes. Now it's basically a facts time. Now let's see what are certain interesting facts related to the colors, eyes and so on. Okay? Yes. Now let's learn about optical illusions. Okay? Now, yes, what do you exactly mean by optical illusions? Within visual perception, an optical illusion, also called a visual illusion, is an illusion that is caused by the visual system and characterized by a visual percept that arguably appears to differ from reality. Okay? That is actually different from a reality. The illusion is very different from the reality. Okay, so that is in term shortly called as optical illusions. Okay, yes. Now let's study, do you know about color illusions? Okay, now let's study what is, like, do you know exactly know about color illusions and what are different facts related to the color illusions? Yes. Yeah. So students, can you just see this? Isn't it sounds interesting? Like, what do you see? Whether you can, there is a diagram there, right? So now can you tell me what do you see there? Whether you can see a dog or a bird. Now, to answer this question, personally, for me, basically, I'm going to see a dog there because I can see the face of the dog, the nose being marked, the mouth is also being marked, and even the single eye is also being marked, and it's quite similar to a, it's actually, for me, it's very eye catching that I can see in a first instance that it is a dog. Now moving to a second word, a bird. Okay, let me imagine how this image, I mean how this image is being familiar to a bird. Yes. So now here I can see that there is a beak at the end, right? There is a beak at the end, and the beak is at the red color and it is at the end, and I can see that by just observing the beak, I can see that there, I can see just the face of the dog as a posture of the bird, and then its leg, I mean the last line that is being elongated, right? I can just imagine it with the hands or leg of a bird, and I can see that by that posture, if I just analyze, then I can just make it out like the bird is actually bending and it's seeing, like it's just seeing its hands or anything that is lying at the at its near to its hands. So I can see that in that way I can correlate to a bird. Okay, so hopefully even you all have just analyzed the image in according to your according to your perception and illusion. Okay, yes. So the earlier slide, I mean this slide, it was actually interesting, right? There is a single image and we can actually make out a dog as well as a bird from the same image. So that is truly interesting. So but do you know the causes? But do you know the causes of the single image being appearing as a dog at one angle, and if you're seeing in the another angle, it is being appearing as a bird? Do you know the causes for that? That is exactly the causes of optical illusions. So any optical illusion occurs when the way you see something is different from what the object really is. Yes, the image is a single image, but the way I was actually judging the image in two different angles, in one sense I was actually seeing the image as a dog, I mean face of the dog, that is a dog basically, and in another way I just judge the image, I just analyze the image as if a posture of a bird and its beak, and the posture was exactly bending towards its hands or legs. So what, right? So this is nothing but the example or causes of a optical illusions. So coming to the next part, that optical illusions occur when there is an error in how the brain interprets what the eyes are saying. Exactly. So this optical illusions occur when there is an error. Okay, when there is an error in how the brain, so basically how the brain interprets. So yes, so my brain, when I was just judging the image, my brain was actually having certain perception and it was actually interpreting the way that I was looking through my own eyes, right? Obviously own eyes, and then I was just judging it, right? Yes. Now, literal optical illusions are often produced by putting together a collection of multiple images. Okay? Yes. So each individual image may be easy to see, but the image together may look very different than the originals. Right? Yeah. So now moving to the next line, that physiological illusions cause a person to see parts of an image that are not actually there. These images often have multiple copies of the same image or pattern. The repeating pattern of the image will activate the same pathways of the visual system no matter where the eyes focus. This overloads the visual system, creating the optical illusion. So this is the actual reason why optical illusion exists. Okay, so the repeating pattern of the image that is going to basically activate the same pathways of the visual system, so no matter where the eyes focus. Okay, yes. Now, cognitive illusions use a person's assumptions about the world to create optical illusions. These illusions do not rely on any kind of biological mechanism. Rather, they defy a person's traditional thinking, creating an image that seems to break the rules that we have learned for physical items. Yes, this is what heterochromia looks really. Yeah, you can see that the two different eyeballs have different colors, right? One is of bluish, one is actually bluish in color, and the other eyeball is green in color, right? This is exactly what is called as heterochromia. Yeah, I can just correlate this image as if ladies, okay, the ladies usually apply one different, different nail color for one finger, the very next finger they will be applying, basically it's a fashion, they will be applying different color, different nail color, right? So that is actually similar to the image I'm being seeing, like one eyeball is of bluish in color, the other one is green in color, right? So this is exactly what it is called as heterochromia. Yes, moving into the next slide, that color blindness. What is color blindness and how actually it forms? Okay. Yes. So what is color blindness? When the cones have all the various pigments called photopigments, your eye sees all possible colors. Okay. When the cones, that is part of our eye, have all the that is being present in the retina, when the cones have all the various pigments called photopigments, your eye sees all possible colors. If there is a problem with the pigments, you won't see colors the way you should. This is called color deficiency or color blindness. Yes, in simple words, most of us have three kinds of cones, as we have studied earlier. But when a person has less than three kinds of cones, he or she is tend to have a color blind. Yes, There are now let's get into the concept that is types of color blindness. One is red green, one is blue yellow, and then last one is complete. Now red green color blindness, this is further again classified into three types. Blue yellow, this is again further classified into two types. I'm coming to the last one, that is complete. That is, it is, in other words, it is scientifically known as monochromacy. Yes, amazing facts. Some amazing facts that will blow your mind regarding the color blindness. Red is the first color a baby sees. Okay, red is the first color a baby sees. They start seeing the red color around when they are 5 months old. Wow, that truly sounds interesting. That they start seeing the first color, that is the red color, around when they are 5 months old. Okay, yes, men and women see the color red differently. There is the second amazing fact is that men and women see the color red very differently. Researchers at the University of Arizona discovered that the ability to see red comes from a gene that is attached to the X chromosome. Since women have two X chromosomes, yes, the women have two X chromosomes, the two copies of these genes help women perceive the red orange spectrum better. Okay, yes. Now blue is the most people's favorite color. Yes, exactly, blue is, that is actually one of my favorite color too. So blue, and I hope I also hope that blue is also favorite color of most of you all who is currently watching this live session. Yes, so blue is most people's favorite color. 42% of men and 30% of women voted blue as their favorite color, meaning it's the world's most popular color and a safe choice if you are creating a product or painting your home. Yes. Yeah, coming to the, let us now get into certain information regarding the monochromacy, that is nothing but the complete color blindness. Okay, so scientifically, this is known as a monochromacy. Complete color blindness is much rarer than two blindness categories. That is, the earlier two blindness categories, one was, just a minute, yes, you can just get back to the slide and you can just recall, as I mentioned you, that is red green and one more is blue yellow. Yeah, so complete blindness is much rare than the red green as well as blue yellow color blindness. Yes, yes. So coming to this slide, scientifically it is known as monochromacy. Complete color blindness is much rarer than two blindness categories. In other forms of color deficiencies, one perceives color differently but can still perceive colors as well. Okay, understand this line? In other forms of color deficiencies, one perceives colors differently. In the other form of color deficiency, it can be the other two category of blindness category. Okay, yes, so here color deficiency, one perceives colors differently but can still perceive color as well. But colors in monochromacy, that is colors with respect to only complete color blindness, the rods and cones that is present in our retina, in your retina, have some form of a defect. Okay, the rods and cones in your retina have some form of a defect. There are different subtypes of monochromacy. Okay, there are different subtypes of monochromacy that are affected by different rod and cone cells taking an abnormal shapes or not being present at all. Okay, so there are different subtypes of monochromacy that are affected by different rod and cone cells taking an abnormal shapes or not being present at all. For these unfortunate people, their visual acuity lives most legally blind. I mean, for these unfortunate people, right, who have certain abnormal shapes, right? When talking with respect to shapes of roads and cones, these kind of people will have certainly a complete color blindness. Okay, that is what the entire concept of a complete color blindness that is being mentioned here. Okay, yeah. Oh, yes. So far we have come to the end of the session. So hope you all enjoyed today's session and learned a very interesting topic, that is, how do we see beautiful colors. So thank you all for joining today's session. Thank you all for joining today's session. Let's meet again with a very new interesting topic in the next session. So until then, take care. Bye bye. See you all in the next session.